Oh my god, my mother-in-law won't stop telling my 2-year-old to stay away from girls. What the fuck is wrong with her? Hey everyone, welcome back to Reddit Monkey. If you're new here, thanks for swinging by. On this channel, we dig into some of the wildest, most mind-blowing stories from Reddit, and today's no different. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Let's dive right in. I'm seriously at my breaking point. So I've been with my husband for 5 years now, and we've got a little boy. Just turned 2 last month. Cute as a button, right? I thought everything was going great. Until my mother-in-law started acting like she's got some twisted obsession with my son's future love life. It's driving me insane. And honestly, I don't know what to do anymore. So here's the deal. My Mill has always been a little intense. But I've mostly brushed it off, you know? She'd come over, talk nonstop, give her unsolicited advice, the usual mother-in-law crap. But lately, she's been fixated on one thing, making sure my son doesn't go near girls. Like, WTF does that even mean? He's 2. What the hell is he supposed to do, date them? The first time I heard her say it, I thought it was just a joke, you know? Like one of those old-fashioned boys will be boys kind of jokes. But oh no, she was dead serious. The first incident happened at a family BBQ. We're all in the backyard. My son is toddling around, playing with some toy cars, and my Mile swoops in. She kneels down next to him, and I'm thinking she's just being a grandma. But then she says, loud enough for everyone to hear, "You be careful with those girls, sweetie. They'll distract you and lead you astray." Excuse me? He's 2. I shoot a look at my husband, expecting him to say something, but he just shrugs it off like it's no big deal. I tried to laugh it off, thinking maybe I misheard or something, but nope. The very next day, we're visiting her house, and she does it again. This time, my son is just sitting in her lap, babbling away like toddlers do, and she goes, "You stay away from those girls, okay? Grandma doesn't want you getting hurt." Now I'm thinking, what the actual fuck? I mean, why is she even saying this? And why is she so damn serious about it? I was too stunned to say anything, but trust me, the anger was brewing. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she's just being protective, right? But things kept getting weirder. Like, one time, we're at the grocery store with my son in the cart, and this little girl, maybe 3 years old, waves at him from the next aisle. My Mill, who was with us, leans over and whispers to him, "Don't wave back, honey. You don't need girls like that around you." What the fuck? My blood was boiling, but I didn't want to cause a scene in the store. So I waited until we got back to the car, and I confronted her. I asked her what the hell was up with these comments about girls. She just looked at me like I was crazy and said, "I'm just trying to protect him. You'll understand when he's older." Protect him? From what exactly? I told her she was being ridiculous, but she just brushed me off and said I was overreacting. Overreacting? Really? That's when I realized this wasn't just some weird phase. She was seriously convinced that my toddler needed protection from girls. I felt like I was living in some alternate universe. It didn't help that my husband was completely useless in this situation. Every time I brought it up, he'd just say, "That's just how she is, babe. She doesn't mean anything by it." Like, are you kidding me? This is our son we're talking about. But no, he was too scared to confront her. Typical. Things came to a head last weekend. We were all at my mother-in-law's house for dinner. My son was playing in the living room, and my mother-in-law was fussing over him, as usual. Then, out of nowhere, she says, "You know, I think it's best if he doesn't play with girls at all. They're just too much trouble." I couldn't take it anymore. I snapped. I told her she was being absolutely ridiculous, that there was nothing wrong with him playing with girls, and that she needed to stop filling his head with this nonsense. She just stared at me, like I had grown 2 heads. She actually had the nerve to say, "I'm just looking out for his future. You don't understand because you're too young to know better." Too young? I'm a grown-ass woman, and she's acting like I'm some clueless teenager. I told her she was way out of line and that I wasn't going to let her mess with my son's head. And then, the craziest thing happened. My husband, who had been silent the whole time, finally speaks up. But instead of backing me up, he sides with her. He says, "Mom's just trying to help. Maybe you're overreacting a little." Overreacting? Are you fucking kidding me? I lost it. I yelled at both of them, told them they were being ridiculous, and that I wasn't going to let them mess up our son's life with their bullshit. My mother-in-law started crying. My husband was just standing there like an idiot, and I grabbed my son and stormed out of there. After that, things got real awkward, real fast. My mother-in-law called my husband, crying about how I had disrespected her in her own home, and how she was just trying to be a good grandma. My husband, the spineless coward, actually suggested that I apologize to her. Apologize? For what? For standing up for our son? Hell no. I told him that if anyone needed to apologize, it was her. So we've been in this weird standoff ever since. I haven't spoken to my mother-in-law, and she hasn't tried to contact me either. My husband keeps telling me I'm making too big a deal out of it, but I'm sorry. This is our son's mental well-being we're talking about. I'm not going to just let this go. But here's the kicker. My MIL has now started sending my son little gifts. But they're not normal gifts like toys or clothes. No, she's sending him weird shit like books about being strong and not getting distracted by others. I don't even know what to do with that. Do I throw them away? Do I confront her again? I'm at my wit's end. Yesterday was the final straw. My husband and I were arguing about the whole situation again, and I could tell he was getting tired of it. He actually suggested that maybe we should just let my MIL spend more time with our son so she can get it out of her system. Are you fucking serious? Let her brainwash our kid just to keep the peace? Not a chance. I told him that if he wasn't going to back me up, then maybe we needed to rethink this whole marriage. I wasn't going to raise my son in an environment where his own grandmother was feeding him this toxic bullshit, and his father was too scared to do anything about it. That's when my husband finally snapped. He said I was being unreasonable, that I was tearing the family apart over nothing, and that maybe I needed to lighten up. Lighten up? I nearly threw him out of the house right then and there, but instead, I grabbed my son, packed a bag, and went to stay with my parents. Update. It's been a week since I left, and honestly, I'm still furious. My husband has been calling and texting, begging me to come back, saying we can work this out, but he still doesn't get it. He thinks this is just some petty argument that will blow over, but it's so much more than that. This is about our son's future, and I'm not going to let my mother-in-law mess that up. I've told my husband that if he wants to make this right, he needs to stand up to his mother and tell her to back the fuck off. Until then, I'm not going back. My parents have been super supportive, and they agree that I'm doing the right thing. They've always thought my mother-in-law was a little off, but now they see just how bad it is. Yesterday, my husband came over to talk. He said he's been thinking a lot about what I said, and he's ready to talk to his mom. But he also said that he thinks we need to go to therapy, because this can't just be about the MIL thing. I agreed to therapy, but I told him that the MIL issue needs to be dealt with first. He promised he'd handle it, but I'm still skeptical. He called his mom while I was there and told her that she needed to back off and stop with the weird comments about girls. She started crying, of course, saying she was just trying to protect her grandson. But my husband finally stood his ground and told her that if she didn't stop, she wouldn't be seeing her grandson anymore. I can't even describe the relief I felt. It's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. But I'm not letting my guard down just yet. We've got a long way to go. And I'm not going to let my son be around her unsupervised until I'm sure this is over. So, it's been a few weeks since the big showdown, and things are better, I guess. My mother-in-law has been quiet, hasn't tried to contact me or my son, which is a miracle in itself. My husband and I have started therapy, and it's actually been helping. We've got a lot to work through, but at least we're talking. I'm still cautious, though. I don't trust my mother-in-law as far as I can throw her. but I'm willing to see how things play out. My husband knows that if she steps out of line again, that's it. No more chances. This is our son's future we're talking about, and I'm not going to let anyone, not even family, mess with that. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's been a hell of a ride, and I'm still not sure where it's going to end, but at least for now, I feel like I'm finally in control.